Buongiorno. I bet you thought I forgot. Because here's the thing. In the interest of transparency, I am recording this on Thursday. Now, anyone who is an avid follower of the Nobody Asked for This podcast, of which there are at least 1.5 of you, some of whom I might be related to, I don't know. Some of whom might be me, myself, and I. So I guess that's 3 plus the 1.5. So 5.5. Quick math. All 5.5 of you would know that normally the Nobody Asked for This podcast, I just saw a rat, is recorded on is released on Thursdays. Now I'm coming to you on a Thursday morning, which I can almost guarantee is a date that I have never recorded because there's no way I've recorded a week in advance. Probably ever, because that's just not my style. I'm more procrastination station, last minute. This is really last minute. But here's the thing. All I say is that this podcast comes out on Thursdays. This will get up on Thursday. This could be out in a matter of really, I could do the whole thing, recording, uploading in under an hour. So, really, me doing the normal Wednesday night recording, or even Wednesday morning recording, is like extremely early for something that only takes an hour to do. But for some reason, coming from a college background, anything, to me, any and everything is due at 11:59. So when it's not 11:59, I feel like I failed. But again, technically, all I've promised is a Thursday release, which you will get. So I would just like to calm everyone down. Sorry, I'm not telling you to calm down, but I would like to calm everyone down and say I have showed up. I'm not going to do another impromptu. What is that word? Hiatus? Not a hiatus. I'm going to name that episode this. I guess I took a 12-hour hiatus. Let's do that. 12 hours later hiatus. How do you spell that word? Hiatus. Okay. Is that one of those English words that's actually not English? It's Latin or something? Seems like it. Speaking of Latin or something, except not really because this has nothing to do with Latin, just sort of speaking of old traditions, something happened in my universe. If you have been a long-time listener of the Nobody Asked for This podcast, again, maybe 4.5 of you, I really have to stop doing that. I have to stop alluding to the fact that no one cares about this. Because I named the podcast Nobody Asked for This. So it's that's kind of the point. If I got a bunch of listeners, I would have to rename the show. And that just sounds like too much work. Because then you have to go through all of the, the websites and change the title. And then make a new cover art. Ugh, I'm exhausted thinking about it. But anyone who has listened to any episode in November or March would know my thoughts on daylight savings. Daylight savings time, it feels a little bit archaic. Again, my stance has always been, I'm open to it. If there is a reason, I think it's for the farmers. The farmers are very important. Without farmers, we wouldn't have food, and without food, we wouldn't have us. So, I get it. I'm open. I just have never heard, in this day and age, a good argument as to why we need it. But I've always been open to hearing it. However, I need to fill up time on a podcast. So when we do something that is as strange as literally changing the time forward or backwards, I use that as content. I can get 10 minutes out of that. Either complaining or celebrating or explaining my history with it, how I thought that you lost an hour of sleep every day as opposed to just the one day, yada yada. I've said this before. And I would say, I'll say it again, but I actually might not because they have just announced that where I am, we are opting out of daylight savings. Now, I have a couple comments on that. One, them saying that we no longer have to do it proves that maybe it was pointless the whole time, or at least recently has been pointless. Two, I had no idea this was brewing. I would have been a pillar of that movement, potentially. But no one asked. I didn't even have to sign like a change.org petition. It all just kind of happened, which how great is that? Like I had to do no work. It was very low lift, low effort. I just sort of got what I wanted. And 3, because I'm a contrarian at heart, I'm not as excited as I should be. I feel like, I mean, this is going to sound crazy because I've literally complained about daylight savings for years, but like, I'm going to miss it. I'm going to miss feeling like we're jumping back and forth in time. I'm going to miss staying up till, 2 a.m. just to see the clock, like, change backwards. I don't know. I feel like there was it was a bonding moment for everyone, especially the one in November when you look around and it's, like, pitch black at 3 p.m. and you're still at work and you're all sort of just powering through the day. I don't know. There was some community in that. I truly believe, and this is for better or for worse, like nothing bonds like negativity. Like having a common enemy, whether that's a person, place, thing, whatever, like nothing will bond you closer, especially to someone that you actually don't like. Like if someone you don't like doesn't like the same thing as you, I actually like them a little bit more. Because it's like, oh, we agree on something. Like there's nothing like agreeing on, having a negative opinion on something. And if you don't have that experience, I'm happy for you that you're positive, but like I recommend introducing some negativity into your life. Just a hint. It can't be all good, We don't want to be toxically positive. So yeah, you got to be you got to add a little realism. Anyway, just to be a contrarian, I will say not Folle Ado. That's that terrible Joker movie. Actually, I never saw the movie, but maybe I heard it was terrible. What was I saying? Oh, without further ado, we will bid adieu to daylight savings. We're going to do it, at least where I am, we're going to do it one more time, and then it's going to be done. Watch in the next couple years I move somewhere where they do it again and I have to go back. Okay, but now I have to do this whole thing of, like, I'm so used to the time difference, like West Coast to East Coast. I know, like, people on the East Coast are 3 hours ahead. But I think now, once we change, we're all going to change over next week, and then we're not going to change back. So does that mean that if I'm on the West Coast, hypothetically, a city on the East Coast that still participates in daylight savings, are they going to be 4 hours ahead or 2 hours ahead? Because now this is going to get confusing. Because I've been... And, like, when my shows come on... Wait. Oh, my gosh. Okay, guys, I hate this. I don't like this. So, I'm on the West Coast. Now, shows, like TV shows that are on cable, which I guess is not many. It's few and far between these days. But they come on at 8 normally, which means I can watch it at 5 here. But if 8 o'clock is now only 2 hours difference, East Coast to West, do I have to wait until 6? What? Which means that when The Bachelor does those horrid 3-hour time suck finales, I'm going to have to be up till 9 as opposed to just 8. Okay, I'm opting out. I don't like it. I don't like change. Go back to the way it was. I take back everything I said about daylight savings. Although what I don't take back is what I knew to be true, which is when everyone was saying I hate daylight savings, you actually don't. You hate not being in daylight savings. So we're not taking away daylight savings. We are staying in permanent daylight savings. Like the thing in November where you go backwards, that was us exiting daylight savings because that was daylight losing's time. That's actually what we don't like. But I don't like that I'm going to have to wait an extra hour for my TV programs. Huh. There's just so many consequences. What did Einstein say, or whoever that was? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Is that the physics guy? Who was the physics one? Was it Einstein? Soaring through the sky, hey, little Einstein. So that was a good show. Alrighty, what else happened this week besides us deciding that we don't have to play with time and Mother Nature anymore? The weather has been wild. It's been hot, it's been cold, it's been raining, sometimes all at once. Which I know makes no sense, but just trust me. Nature is not healing. Nature is very much unhealed. And I feel like it's the apocalypse. I've thought this for a while now. That the apocalypse is coming, but I can kind of feel it. I don't know how to explain it, and I don't want to alarm anyone, but like, I don't know. If not 2026, I feel like 2027 is going to be the year of the apocalypse. I don't know in what form. Like, I don't know how it's going to happen, but I just feel like it's coming up the time where there's just going to be a shift. Although maybe the shift I was feeling was now the lack of daylight savings. Interesting. Anyway, is this the first? Yes, I believe this is the first episode of March. How exciting. The first day of spring is coming up. What is that called? There's like a fancy word for it. Not celestial. It's the spring solstice. That's a hard word to say, especially when I had braces. The spring solstice. The spring equinox. Anyway. Oh, and then St. Patrick's Day. I would like to know, I feel like there's lots of saints. Why did St. Patrick get like his own holiday? Like, where did that come from? Also, I can never remember if St. Patrick's Day is one of those holidays where it's like the third Wednesday in March, or if it has a date. That is always confusing to me. When it's like Mother's Day. Not that, I love that it exists. But, like, can we pick a date? Like, I think it's like the second Wednesday or the second Sunday in May. Although maybe they want it on a Sunday because, like, we'd all be, like, you need to take it's the day of rest. So you need to take a full day to appreciate your mother, a parental figure, whoever you celebrate on Mother's Day. So I guess that one makes sense. But St. Patrick's Day, I feel like that can be on a weekday. Like, who cares? This is really fascinating stuff. Well, I hope everybody has a good week. I do apologize for the lack of promptness of which this episode will be uploaded, but I will get it up before the end of the day. In which case would mean, did I ever tell the story on this podcast how the day after I got my new car, which is actually older than my old car, once I got it, I thought I threw out the fob with, like, my spare keys. Yeah, I found it. I know everyone was waiting on that update, but yes, I don't want to brag, but I, for the first time ever, now have a car, aside from the one day that I got this car, that I hadn't lost the fob yet, but I now, for the first time in my life, have a car with a fob. And I'm having a really hard time transitioning to using the fob, because I'm so used to just, like, putting the key in the keyhole and then just locking it manually and then just praying to the Lord above that I don't lock the only key I have in the car, because in that case I would have no spare key. Although it doesn't really, and like on all the TV shows and stuff, it doesn't really seem that hard to break into a car. You just have to get that, like, stick thing that you stick down the window. Like, why is it so easy? Speaking of keys and breaking in, if you know how at, like, Home Depot or whatever, they sell padlocks. It's like a lock and a key. If you get 2 of those, will that one key open both? Like, do they make different keys? Because I could see both sides of the coin. I could see them thinking, like, you know what, let's just do one key, one lock, easy. Fine. But then I could also see that being a safety hazard, because what if you bought like the same padlock as someone else and then you can go around and open people's things? Or are we just assuming that that type of coincidence isn't going to happen? I don't know. I've always wondered that. If anyone has an answer to that, please let me know. That's like too long to put into Google, so I'm just going to need someone to do that for me. Maybe I'll get AI on the case. But, yeah. I'm gonna keep my eyes peeled on that one. Anyway, apologies again for the tardiness. I hope everybody has a great day. If you like what you've heard, you can go to podcastnobodyaskforthis.podbean.com. On there, you can listen to the episodes, find us on iTunes and Spotify and Google and wherever. Truly, if you've taken the time to listen to this, I so appreciate it. Here's to the losing of Daylight Losing's time. Except for the fact that we will be watching the 3-hour Bachelor finales, at least I will, until 9 p.m. With that, I bid you adieu, goodbye, and good night.